For the first time in modern memory, City of Sacramento officials are imposing a curfew Monday night in hopes of quelling the late-night violence that has shaken the city's central core this weekend and spread to outlying city areas Sunday night.
But what exactly is a curfew? Here are some questions and answers, based on information from city officials and occurrences in other cities, on what appears to be an unprecedented move in California's capital.
It takes place throughout the city of Sacramento. See map here. The curfew goes into effect at 8 p.m. Monday and lasts until 5 a.m. Tuesday.
The curfew will be in effect nightly until city officials order it rescinded. The council will re-evaluate the curfew at its council meeting scheduled for 5 p.m. Tuesday.
Mayor Darrell Steinberg said that keeping law-abiding residents off the streets after dark allows the police to focus on smaller groups of people who might cause problems following peaceful George Floyd protests. In other cities, hundreds of people defied curfew orders though, and clashed with police.
A resolution the council adopted, which also declared a local public emergency, puts it this way: conditions of extreme peril caused by mass demonstrations, rioting, and looting, are threatening the safety of persons and property within the city of Sacramento, and local resources are unable to continue to cope with the effects of the emergency.
No, county officials are not imposing restrictions, so far, nor has any other city in the county. But the Sacramento Metropolitan Chamber of Commerce is urging businesses in general to close and for some to consider boarding up.
The city of West Sacramento enacted a curfew which will also take effect starting Monday at 8 p.m.
In El Dorado County, Placerville is closing Main Street between 8 p.m. and 6 a.m., and increasing policing.
According to the council resolution, during curfew hours, no person shall be upon the public street, avenue, alley, park, or other public place or unimproved public realty within the boundaries of the city of Sacramento.
That suggests no one is allowed to be outside once the curfew hour hits.
But there are notable exceptions.
The curfew does not apply to police officers, peace officers, firefighters, or other emergency personnel or civilians engaged in police or emergency work. It also does not apply to the National Guard or any other military personnel deployed to the area.
Another noteworthy exception: any person going to or from their place of work, including healthcare workers and essential workers, and to authorized representatives of any news service, newspaper, or radio or television station or network.
That means essential services, such as hospitals, are fully open. It also means the news media, which has been out in force covering the protests and riots, can continue to do so.
Businesses must close to the public, but can continue other operations. People leaving unsafe circumstances, including fires, criminal conduct and domestic violence, can go out.
Yes, the mayor said he expects restaurants within city limits to close in deference to the curfew.
The resolution does not address that specifically, but its wording strongly suggests people cannot be driving around unless they are going to an essential task. The wording notably says, no person shall be upon the public street.
No, regional transit will be running during the curfew as an essential service.
It remains uncertain what police can and will do tonight and in the following nights. It's clear the police want the ability to stop anyone they see on the street, regardless of what that person is doing.
The resolution allows them to arrest people for being out after hours.
The law enforcement forces of this city, along with the law enforcement authorities cooperating with the city, are hereby authorized and charged, to the extent provided by law, with the responsibility of enforcing this curfew and are further authorized to arrest persons that do not obey this curfew after due notice, oral or written, has been given to that person.
Any violation of this curfew shall be punished as provided in Section 2.116.100 of the Sacramento City Code, which states, it is a misdemeanor, punishable by a fine of not to exceed $500, or by imprisonment not to exceed 6 months, or both, for any person, during an emergency.
The Sacramento County Main Jail is not currently booking inmates for most misdemeanors or lower-level felonies due to a statewide order from the Judicial Council of California to prevent the spread of the coronavirus. If police arrest people for violating the curfew, and the jail does not accept them, they will be released but will still have to answer to the misdemeanor citation, City Attorney Susanna Alicala Woods said. The National Guard will not be enforcing the curfew, Wood said. Only Sacramento Police Department officers are enforcing the curfew.
National Guard troops will instead guard private and public critical infrastructure that Police Chief Daniel Hahn deems to be most at risk, Steinberg said.
We want people to comply with the curfew, and if there's non-compliance, our police will ask people to go home, and there is that ability and that tool to make arrests if necessary, Steinberg said. But this is intended to address the non-protests after dark that are non-protests because they are just plain criminal acts of destruction and mayhem.
Although they are not included as an exemption in the resolution, Steinberg said the homeless are an exemption to the curfew, for obvious reasons.
City Manager Howard Chan is issuing a directive to police to advise that encampments will continue to be treated in accordance with the CDC guidelines, Wood said.
Those guidelines say police should not clear homeless encampments during the coronavirus crisis in order to prevent the spread of the virus through the community. Sacramento County has also issued a public health order that says the same thing.
The city of Sacramento imposed an 11 p.m. curfew a decade ago when a group of protesters for services for the poor began camping in front of City Hall. The decision was challenged in court by civil liberties lawyers, but in July 2012 a federal judge sided with the city.
Reporter Dale Kasseler contributed to this story.